Ibn Battuta 1304-1369 Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Battuta was a Moroccan Muslim scholar and traveler. He was known for his traveling and undertaking excursions called the Rihla. His journeys lasted for a period of almost 30 years, covering nearly the whole of the known Islamic world and beyond. They extended from North Africa, West Africa, Southern Europe and Eastern Europe in the West, to the Middle East, Indian subcontinent, Central Asia, Southeast Asia and China in the East, a distance readily surpassing that of his predecessors. After his travels he returned to Morocco and gave his account of the experience to Ibn Jawzi. Early life and career. Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Battuta was born in Tangier, Morocco, on the 24th of February 1304 CE 703 Hijra. During the time of the Marinid dynasty, he was commonly known as Shams ad-Din. His family was of Berber origin and had a tradition of service as judges. After receiving an education in Islamic law, he chose to travel. He left his house in June 1325, when he was 21 years of age, and set off from his hometown initially on a Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca, a journey that took him 16 months. He continued traveling and did not return to Morocco for at least 24 years. His journeys were mostly by land, to reduce the risk of being attacked. He usually chose to join a caravan. In the town of Sfax, he married. During his travels, he survived wars, shipwrecks, and rebellions. He first began his voyage by exploring the lands of the Middle East. Thereafter he sailed down the Red Sea to Mecca. He crossed the huge Arabian Desert and traveled to Iraq and Iran. In 1330, he set off again, down the Red Sea to Aden and then to Tanzania. Then in 1332, Ibn Battuta decided to visit India. He was greeted open-heartedly by the Sultan of Delhi. There he was appointed to the position of a judge. He stayed in India for a period of 8 years and then left for China. Ibn Battuta left for another adventure in 1352. He then went south, crossed the Sahara Desert, and visited the African kingdom of Mali. Finally, Battuta returned home to Tangier in 1355. It is questionable whether Ibn Battuta visited all the places that he described. In order to provide a comprehensive description of places in the Muslim world, Ibn Battuta probably relied on hearsay evidence and made extensive use of accounts by earlier travelers. Ibn Battuta reported that he experienced culture shock in some of the regions he visited. The local customs of recently converted people did not fit his Orthodox Muslim background. Among Turks and Mongols, he was astonished at the way women behaved. They were allowed freedom of speech. He also felt that the dress customs in the Maldives and some sub-Saharan regions in Africa were too revealing. Death. After the completion of the Rihla in 1355, little is known about Ibn Battuta's life. He was appointed a judge in Morocco and died in 1368. The Rihla provides an important account of many areas of the world in the 14th century. Ibn Rushd 11-61198 Abu Walid Muhammad ibn Rushd, born in 1128 CE in Cordova, Spain, has been held as one of the greatest thinkers and scientists of history. His name is often Latinized as Averroes, a product of 12th century Islamic Spain. He set out to integrate Aristotelian philosophy with Islamic thought. A common theme throughout his writings is that there is no inappropriateness between religion and philosophy when both are properly understood. His contributions to philosophy took many forms, ranging from his detailed commentaries on Aristotle, his defense of philosophy against the attacks of those who condemned it as different to Islam, and his construction of a form of Aristotelianism which cleansed it, as far as was possible at the time, of Neoplatonic influences. Education. Ibn Rushd's education followed a traditional path, beginning with studies in hadith, linguistics, jurisprudence, and scholastic theology. Throughout his life he wrote extensively on philosophy and religion, attributes of God, origin of the universe, metaphysics, and psychology. He excelled in philosophy and jurisprudence and was nicknamed the jurisprudent philosopher. The role of the philosopher in the state was a topic of continual interest for Ibn Rushd. Philosophical contributions and achievements. His thought is genuinely creative and highly controversial, producing powerful arguments that were to puzzle his philosophical successors in the Jewish and Christian worlds. He argues that there are two forms of truth, a religious form and a philosophical form, and that it does not matter if they point in different directions. He is also doubtful about the possibility of personal immortality or of God's being able to know that particular events have taken place. His work also suggests that religion is inferior to philosophy as a means of attaining knowledge. and that the understanding of religion which ordinary believers can have is very different and impoverished when compared with that available to the philosopher. In philosophy, his most important work, Tufat al-Tufat, was written in response to al-Ghazali's work. Ibn Rushd was criticized by many Muslim scholars for this book, which, nevertheless, had a deep influence on European thought, at least until the beginning of modern philosophy and experimental science. His views on fate were that man is neither in full control of his destiny nor is it fully predetermined for him. Al-Rushd's longest commentary was, in fact, an original contribution, as it was largely based on his analysis, including interpretation of Quranic concepts. Ibn Rushd's summary, the opinions fatwa of previous Islamic jurists on a variety of issues, has continued to influence Islamic scholars to the present day, notably Javed Ahmad Ghamidi, astronomy. At the age of 25, Ibn Rushd conducted astronomical observations in Morocco, during which he discovered a previously unobserved star. He was also of the view that the moon was opaque and obscure, and had some parts which were thicker than others, with the thicker parts receiving more light from the sun than the thinner parts of the moon. He also gave one of the first descriptions of sunspots. Medicine. Ibn Rushd also made remarkable contributions in medicine. In medicine, his well-known book Kitab al-Quyat fi al-Tib was written before 1162 AD. Its Latin translation was known as Collegiate. The work, composed of 7 books concerning anatomy, physiology, pathology, symptomatology, pharmacology, hygiene and therapeutics. In it, Ibn Rushd threw light on various aspects of medicine, including the diagnoses, cure and prevention of diseases, and he made several original observations. Ibn Rushd died in Marrakesh in 1198, where he was buried. 3 months later, his body was moved to Cordova, his birthplace. His works remained an important influence on future great thinkers and creative minds. Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi 78085. Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi was a Persian mathematician, astronomer, astrologer, geographer, and a scholar in the House of Wisdom in Baghdad. He was born in Persia of that time around 780. Al-Khwarizmi was one of the learned men who worked in the House of Wisdom. Al-Khwarizmi flourished while working as a member of the House of Wisdom in Baghdad, under the leadership of Caliph al-Mamun, the son of the Caliph Harun al-Rashid, who was made famous in the Arabian Nights. The House of Wisdom was a scientific, research and teaching center. Contributions and achievements. Al-Khwarizmi developed the concept of the algorithm in mathematics, which is a reason for his being called the grandfather of computer science by some people. Al-Khwarizmi's algebra is regarded as the foundation and cornerstone of the sciences. To Al-Khwarizmi we owe the world algebra, from the title of his greatest mathematical work, Hisab al-Jabr wa al-Muqabala, the book, which was twice translated into Latin by both Gerard of Cremona and Robert of Chester in the 12th century, works out several hundred simple quadratic equations by analysis as well as by geometrical example. It also has substantial sections on methods of dividing up inheritances and surveying plots of land. It is largely concerned with methods for solving practical computational problems, rather than algebra as the term is now understood. Al-Khwarizmi confined his discussion to equations of the first and second degrees. He also wrote an important work on astronomy, covering calendars, calculating true positions of the sun, moon and planets, tables of sines and tangents, spherical astronomy, astrological tables, parallax and eclipse calculations, and visibility of the moon. His astronomical work, Zij al-Sindind, is also based on the work of other scientists. As with the algebra, its chief interest is as the earliest Arab work still in existence in Arabic. His most recognized work, as mentioned above, and one that is so named after him, is the mathematical concept algorithm. The modern meaning of the word relates to a specific practice for solving a particular problem. Today, people use algorithms to do addition and long division, principles that are found in Al-Khwarizmi's text written about 1200 years ago. Al-Khwarizmi was also responsible for introducing the Arabic numbers to the West, setting in motion a process that led to the use of the 9 Arabic numerals, together with the 0 sign. Of great importance also was Al-Khwarizmi's contribution to medieval geography. He systematized and corrected Ptolemy's research in geography, using his own original findings that are entitled as Surat al-Ard, the shape of the earth. The text exists in a manuscript. The maps have unfortunately not been preserved, although modern scholars have been able to reconstruct them from Al-Khwarizmi's descriptions. He supervised the work of 70 geographers to create a map of the then known world.